Bedr Al-Madi is a political sociology professor at the German Jordanian University. He joins me live now from Amman in Jordan. Thank you so much for being with us on the program, Professor. Now, there are a lot of diplomatic efforts underway. King Abdullah has met Olaf Scholz and has said very sternly that the possibility of refugees coming into Jordan and Egypt, for that matter, is their red line. He said, quote, and I want to read his quote because I think it's very important. I think that is the plan of certain of the usual suspects to try and create de facto issues on the ground. No refugees in Jordan, no refugees in Egypt. This is a situation of humanitarian dimension that has to be dealt with inside of Gaza and the West Bank, and not to try and push the Palestinian challenge and their future onto other people's shoulders. What do you make of this?
And what make of this? Absolutely, Jordan is just insisting that Israel has to stop what they are doing against the Gazan people in Palestine. And this is absolutely to assure the Jordanian position as well as the Egyptians that they will not accept actually the plan of Netanyahu to send more Palestinians out of their homes. And absolutely, Jordan does not want to repeat actually what happened in 1948 and 1967, where Israel at that time, they just pushed many Palestinians outside of their homes, and they are residing whether here in Jordan or surrounding country. Jordan is really taking a position right now. It is making the process that Netanyahu has to stop what he is doing right now against the Palestinian people.
The U.S. is really trying to deter Hamas from conducting any more attacks on Israel by sending its warships through the eastern Mediterranean, and now by announcing 2,000 troops will be at Israel's disposal. What do you make of his visit, and what do you think will come out of it?
One of the most important things that we have to know that what United States of America is doing right now is not just something that against Hamas or the resistance movement in Gaza, but absolutely it is like a message for the region, especially for other forces that for not being actually, or at least to help and support the resistant national movement Hamas in Gaza. And in the same times, they wanted also to prove for the Jewish lobby back in the United States of America that President Biden are backing up Israel, where they will benefit actually from the elections next year. And the other things that they just want to assure the existence and stability of Israel as one of the most important projects for the Western countries and the colonial power. And they want actually to preserve such projects here in the region, and they don't want anything to ruin actually their future plan for controlling the Middle East and to control actually the political power here in the region. This is one of the most important things. And then we come up to the other actually motivations for the American when we talk about there is a lot of American hostages there in Gaza right now, and they wanted to participate side by side with the Israeli to free their American citizen from Gaza.
There are a couple of summits that are expected to be held. Jordan announced today that it will host a four-way summit on Wednesday with the leaders from the U.S., Egypt, Palestine to discuss an end to the war on Gaza. There's also a summit that is expected to be held in Saudi Arabia, also in Egypt. What do you think is going to come out of these summits? Is it going to make a difference?
I think one of the most important ones that it will be held tomorrow in Amman, Jordan, where President Biden will meet with Sisi, the president of Egypt, and Abbas, the president of Palestine, and the King of Jordan. I think the King of Jordan in his last visit to Europe and his actually talk with President Biden and the Foreign Minister of the United States of America, he was be able at least to utilize this meeting to bring the Western countries' perspective to the middle and to tell the Americans that they don't have always to stand up with Israel. And absolutely, this is a humanitarian crisis. It has to be dealt like that. And in the same times, President Biden and the Western countries, they have to know that what's happening in Gaza right now is delegitimizing the Arab government. And it will actually form a big threat for United States of America interests, the interests where the Arab regimes actually are dealing and talking with the American as, or at least, let's say, executing their plans here in the region. As long as this war is going, it will be absolutely destroying and damaging the reputation of the Arab regime. And in the same time, it will damage the interests of the United States of America here in the region.
Another major issue that I'd like to discuss with you is how Islamophobia and hate crimes are being fueled by the anti-Palestine rhetoric we're hearing from not only Western news outlets, but from politicians. Biden has faced a lot of backlash for the killing of Wadi El-Fayoume, a 6-year-old boy who was stabbed 26 times by a man named Joseph, who has been now charged with murder and 2 counts of hate crimes. Wadi's mother has not been able to attend his funeral because she was also stabbed, and she's trying to recover in hospital now. How much responsibility do politicians carry with issues like this one?
Absolutely. We don't have first to ask the politician in the West to take responsibility of this. We have actually people in the Middle East, Arab world, Muslim world. We have take such responsibility to absolutely to have an encounter argument actually with the Western media. As you know, politicians and Western media played really a dangerous role in the recent days, which absolutely mislead the people and gave a misinformation actually for the people back in the West, where the incidents that you mentioned, it was a result of what President Biden and the media was inflaming actually the situation back. What we really need from those politicians, at least to read history, and what we need from those politicians, at least to stand for their Western values that they always been talking about. And they were trying to export such values to the other nations around the world. They have to stop such argument, and they have to stop such let's say unbalance in their political standing when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Professor Badr Al-Madi, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour and sharing that insight with us. We appreciate it.